All right, Greg. So what are we on? Almost half a week through this big Biden book. What's going on?
Well, I am with Sally Quinn. I think Dr. Jill should lose her medical license. No more practicing medicine, Dr. Jill, whatever that was. Look, I have one question to Sally Quinn. Where have you been? You're so brave speaking truth to power now that the power is out of power. She didn't start talking about this stuff till after the debate. Where was this lady? She should have been sharing the risk with the few and rare journalists who did speak up when it mattered. I mean, did she ever say, God bless that son of a bitch, Peter Doocy? No, no. She should be asking about the cowards of legacy media. Or maybe she's too close to them. The new defense, and I love this. You can see this on the left. This is no scandal. No one was hiding his cognitive problems. We all saw it. So now they're gaslighting. They're gaslighting. But they don't understand. The story isn't that we didn't see it. It's that you saw it and you denied it. You knew it was there. You refused to cover it. So shut up. The Dems are like a used car lot that has a reputation for selling lemons. You know, they sold us 2 big lemons recently, you know, Kamala and Biden. So what do you do when your reputation is ruined? You know, you shut down and reopen under a new name. Value Jet, you know, became Air Trans. Lance Armstrong became Live Strong. Remember that? Philip Morris became Altria. GMAC became Ally Financial. Weight Watchers is now WW. So either the Dems got to come clean or they got to shut down and find a new name. Because the only way, I said this to Howard yesterday, the only way for the Dems in the media can regain trust is to turn on the establishment like Trump did and create their own lane. One person, it only takes one candidate, because that's the only lane for the survival of the Democrat Party and, in a way, Hollywood, too. You could say Taylor Swift is a huge talent, but she has no credibility. Bruce Springsteen, no credibility. Robert De Niro, no credibility. They all lost their credibility.
Howard, your name was invoked. Do you believe that your party needs to shut down and reopen under a different name?
No, I do think that I think that Greg's the broader point. I think the thrust of his point is that if you are not able to differentiate and distinguish yourself from this, and then begin to talk about a vision for the country that's populated with ideas to make the country stronger and healthy and great, a lot of things that the president talks about, you're not going to win. No one knows what goes on in anyone's marriage. I don't know what she told him or what she was suggesting he do. I do believe that she had some great influence in that White House, and she probably, if she'd said we shouldn't run, he might have decided not to run. But he chose to. And we're now hearing all these things. I come back to where we've dealt with this story now for a good little while, and I know this book is out, and I still don't understand how these people that wrote the book, who covered all this, this campaign in this White House, uncovered all this over the last 5 or 6 months, and are now going to make a lot of money off for telling us things that I wish they had reported. We were talking about it around this table. We joked a little bit the day or so ago about maybe you and I said you said you wanted to thank a note of apology. Greg said he wanted the money.
Greg wants royalties.
I do, and reparations.
And it's only reparations he likes. And then but I do think that this story, the Bidens are going to have to live with it, and those around him who saw this and who didn't come forward and say maybe you should do what you said from the outset, which was to be a transitional figure in politics. Had he done that, none of this would be being talked about now.
Last night on Primetime, Kayla, you said that the Justice Department should appoint a special counsel and look into the Biden cover-up. Yeah. Would you subpoena Dr. Biden?
Yes, without question. Look, people are blaming this all on the Democratic Party. I think that's unfair, and here's why. Because I've been in the West Wing, and it is easy to cocoon the president if you want to. We didn't have to cocoon President Trump. He's out there every day. You see him. He's with it. But if you wanted to cocoon the president, you could. And you could do it with about 10 people knowing. Press secretary would probably know. The chief of staff would certainly know. We know the first lady's staff would know. We need to breach that inner circle to find out what was going on. The only way you're going to do that is with subpoenas. I think the only way you truly do that is with a special counsel appointed by the DOJ. This is gravely serious, and it's serious because of the issues that it connects to. Senator Bennett was at the White House. He's a Democrat. He has no reason to tell mistruths to people. He left the White House after an immigration event in 2022. Jake Tapper's told this story. And when he left the White House, he said he was stunned by how President Biden was. No wonder our immigration policy is such a mess. There's another account in the book about a discussion involving the Middle East, and the Democrats on the call said, I don't even believe he understands the issues. So when you're not understanding international issues or immigration policy, and these are Democrats, that inner circle has to be breached. You got to get to the 10. You got to go through KJP, Anthony Bernal, Mike Donilon, subpoena them all. Special counsel is necessitated.
Do you think the Republicans will go along with something like that?
I mean, there's huge questions here. I mean, I don't think anybody's claiming, I'm not going to the level of criminality.
I am.
But are you? Okay,
Yes.
so there's, these are really serious questions for the country. And if there was this big of a cover-up, the question should certainly be put to the First Lady. She was at his side for so many of these moments. I've just been watching the tape we've been rolling on. I mean, remember the G7 summit in Italy where he wandered off, and we were told that I just checked, it was a Reuters fact check, that was taken out of context. But people at home were deciding for themselves what they were seeing, the detailed pictures we were seeing, that the cards they were putting in his hand for press conferences that detailed when to say thank you, when to stand up, pointing directions, where to go on a stage. Nicole Wallace, remember the interview where he sat down and he got up before the interview was over and walked off of the set. But we were just not supposed to believe what we were seeing with our own eyes. And that went on for a long time. I look at Joe Scarborough saying, obviously I was wrong, he says, when he's in this new interview with Jake Tapper. It's either they were, ignoring it, or they had convinced themselves to the point, because they had set the bar so low because of what they were seeing from him, that if he had good days, that, okay, he was okay. So I don't know which it is there, but there's obviously very serious questions that will continue to be asked.
Did Biden have good days, or were the days just less bad than the day before?
That's the point.
Scary question.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.